Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're doing what we do best, taking a seemingly simple piece of source material and uncovering the fascinating, completely overlooked story hiding right beneath the surface. Today's deep dive comes directly from a recent, honestly incredibly charming update on the Ichikawa City Zoo's official X.com account. Now, at first glance, this might just seem like your standard, everyday post about some zoo animals. But if we look just a little bit closer, it actually presents us with this delightful little biological mystery, a puzzle that we are affectionately calling Punch's weight paradox. What's so amazing about this specific story is how a tiny zoo update turns into a really fascinating look at natural animal biology, the absolutely incredible care provided by local zoo staff, and, surprisingly enough, the heartwarming power of digital communities. It perfectly shows how a short post can instantly connect us to the day-to-day lives of animals living halfway across the world. So let's unpack exactly what's going on here. So let's set the scene for this little micro mystery. This official update was posted on Sunday, August 23rd, which brings us straight to a very specific location within the zoo, the Sar-Yuma. For those who might not know, Sar-Yuma translates to Monkey Mountain, and it is this dynamic, highly social enclosure where these primates live in a really complex community. Now, a huge part of a zookeeper's daily routine isn't just, tossing food into the enclosure. They meticulously observe their residents. They're conducting these incredibly detailed behavioral and health checks every single day, constantly watching for even the absolute slightest changes in mood, social dynamics, physical appearance, the whole shebang. It's a true testament to their dedication. And on this specific late August day, as they were making their usual rounds through the Monkey Mountain, their expert attention locked onto one very special, very prominent resident, a monkey affectionately named Punch. Because Punch, as it turns out, was right in the middle of a rather dramatic seasonal transition. The zoo's update starts by painting this really vivid picture of what's happening across the entire Sariyama enclosure as the late summer season asserts itself. The zookeeper notes that, quote, "Molting is progressing in all individuals," unquote. This quote is absolutely crucial because it grounds our explainer today in pure biological reality. This isn't some isolated incident, and it is definitely not a unique health issue just affecting one animal. Actually, it's a major seasonal shift happening to absolutely everyone in this shared habitat. The entire monkey community is going through this simultaneous, very visible physical change. You can imagine the energy in the enclosure. It makes it an especially fascinating and, honestly, an incredibly busy time for the zookeepers. They have to carefully monitor the group dynamics and check on the health of every single monkey as they all go through this collective phase together. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what the zookeepers mean by that biological shift. For context, molting is simply the totally natural, entirely necessary process of shedding that heavy, dense winter coat to make way for a much lighter, breathable summer one. It is fundamental to how these animals regulate their body temperature as the seasons change and things warm up. I mean, imagine if you had to wear a heavy, insulated down parka for months on end, and then, as summer approached, you had to gradually shed it piece by piece. That's essentially what these monkeys are experiencing. It actually takes a massive amount of metabolic energy to grow that fur in the first place, and it's a very noticeable, sometimes kind of messy physical event when it finally starts to come off. It's a completely natural cycle that happens every single year, but it never fails to completely transform how the residents of the Monkey Mountain look. But let's bring our focus back specifically to our main guy today, Punch. During this period of enclosure-wide molting, Punch's famously fluffy, long fur is actively falling out. It's a really dramatic physical transformation for him. He is rapidly losing that thick, heavy, protective winter layer that successfully kept him warm for months. The sheer volume of fur that a primate like Punch sheds during this window is genuinely astonishing. You really have to imagine the physical toll as well as the striking visual impact of losing all that bulk. He's inevitably leaving behind tufts of hair all over the place. Day by day, week by week, that massive insulating coat is steadily disappearing, peeling back to reveal a much smaller, completely different frame hiding underneath all that fluff. Now, what's super interesting here is the direct, almost comical contradiction between what our eyes are seeing and what the scientific measurements are telling us. Without his fluffy winter coat, Punch looks remarkably sleek and slim. And naturally, our human brains assume that an animal shedding pounds of heavy fur is going to be physically lighter, right? It just makes intuitive sense. Less volume should mean less mass. And yet, according to the zookeeper's official measurements and their meticulous daily weigh-ins, Punch's weight is actually steadily increasing. His sleek, slim visual appearance completely contradicts the hard, objective data on the scale. His internal metrics, his actual body mass, are going up at the exact same time his physical volume appears to be rapidly going down. It's a perfect biological paradox. So it begs a really fascinating question. How can an animal lose its thickest layer of fur, look visually way slimmer to anyone walking past, but still manage to gain overall body mass. It's a fun, classic micro-mystery that zoo professionals sometimes encounter. We're seeing less of the animal on the outside, a much sleeker silhouette, yet the scale is confidently telling the zookeepers a totally different story. It defies our basic, everyday assumptions about seasonal weight loss. Something else has to be driving this hidden growth spurt. There must be a biological mechanism or an external factor powerful enough to completely offset the physical mass of all that lost winter fur. Seriously, what could possibly be tipping the scales? Well, the answer to our little paradox isn't found in a biological textbook, and it's not some strange metabolic anomaly. It's actually found in his appetite and in the incredible power of an engaged community. The secret behind this surprising weight gain is the daily hashtag #GoHanu support. Now, for those who might not know, gohanu basically translates to a meal or food in Japanese. So despite losing all that heavy fur and looking significantly thinner to the naked eye, Punch's actual physical mass is steadily going up because he is being incredibly well fed. He possesses a robust, healthy appetite that is more than making up for the loss of his winter coat. But what makes this update truly special isn't just about the food itself. It's about how the zookeepers frame the motivation for that food and where they playfully imagine that support is coming from. So, the crucial point here is exactly how the zookeepers playfully interpret this rising number on the scale. The staff has this wonderfully lighthearted theory about the whole phenomenon. They deduce that, quote, it's definitely thanks to the daily hashtag #GoHano support, right? Unquote. It is such an adorable and deeply affectionate perspective from the people who care for him the most. Instead of just clinically noting a weight gain on a spreadsheet, the zookeepers are attributing the steady influx of meals to this wonderful concept of digital community support. They're drawing a direct, imaginative line between the thousands of people cheering Punch on from afar on social media and the healthy weight he's packing on right there in the physical enclosure. It really highlights the deeply personal, caring bond these keepers have, not just with the animals, but with the community that follows them. And we can actually see that community support in action through the very hashtags fans and followers are using online. We can basically treat these phrases as literal, enthusiastic cheers from a digital crowd, rallying around this animal to keep him strong during his transition. First, there's hashtag Ichikawa City Zoo and Botanical Garden, which grounds this whole phenomenon deeply in the local community that cares for the facility. Then, the energy picks up with hashtag #GoForItPunch. And finally, the incredibly wholesome hashtag You're Doing Great Punch. Every single one of these tags acts as a wave of encouragement. It beautifully illustrates how a digital community can translate online engagement into a feeling of real-world care, basically acting as though they are working together alongside the zookeepers to keep Punch well-fed, happy, and healthy through a physically taxing seasonal change. It truly is a heartwarming testament to how modern digital communities can connect with and feel actively invested in the welfare of local wildlife from afar. Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. How much more hashtag #GoHano support is Punch going to receive as his sleek summer coat fully comes in? If he is gaining all this healthy weight right now while he is actively losing pounds of fur, just imagine how remarkably strong, vibrant, and healthy he will be by the end of the season when that transition is totally complete. It's a wonderful reminder that sometimes the most fascinating zoo stories aren't just about the biology of the animals themselves, but about the incredible network of community support that surrounds them. It certainly makes you want to immediately hop online, join the chorus, and check in on Punch's journey for yourself, doesn't it?